Need for Speed Unbound Volume 4 just dropped, and you're going to want to know how to make money now that everything is completely different. So this video is going to teach you just that. Let's go. Alright, before I get into the video, welcome to the Militia gaming community. I'm Trigger, and I created a leaderboard website called nfsbattles.com. You can go there and get ranked on our leaderboards and compete with people around the world in Need for Speed Unbound and Need for Speed Heat. Check it out when you get a chance. The link is in the description. It is completely free to partake in. Alright, let's get into this video. So, money making in Unbound Volume 4 is completely different, and the reason is you can't link things together like Linkups and then playlists and then Linkups and then playlists. You're actually going to be doing a lot more of the playlists than anything else, because all of the randomized public events like Linkups, boosted events, things like that, they're on timers now, and the timers are much farther apart than they were in Volume 3. So I'm going to go over all of the different ways that you make money and talk about how much money you make. We're going to start with Linkups. So Linkups give you $125,000 and around 10,000 XP for your speed pass. Unfortunately, they are now on a 30-minute timer from the end of the previous Linkup. So if a Linkup starts at 12 and then it goes for about 15 or 20 minutes, that'll put you at 12:20. Then there's a 30-minute timer from the time it ends until the next Linkup will even start. So that puts you at 12:50. So the chances of getting in more than one Linkup in an hour are pretty slim. If you don't have a lot of time to play, you might only get one attempt at a Linkup, so you definitely need to take advantage of it when it pops up. Again, it's $125,000 if it's completed. If you fail it, or if you only complete half of it, you're going to get less, but it does reward good money for the amount of time that you do spend in it, even if you fail it at round 2. Next, let's talk about boosted events. So this is just the regular events like Linkups and playlists. However, these are boosted ones. It shows up with an orange icon around it. It'll either be on the meetup or it'll show up on the Linkup itself. You know that that's a boosted event because it's orange and it's highlighted. That gives you 1.5 times money and XP towards your speed pass. Now with the regular playlist events, whether it's drift playlists or race playlists or gauntlet playlists, it doesn't matter, but if it's on a playlist, you also get 10% bonus for each additional player that joins. So those boosted events really put an emphasis on those events. Now that 10% bonus is always there no matter when you do those events, but with the boosted combined with that 10% bonus, and I think those playlists are actually going to be full because they offer more money, your opportunity to get money on this is very, very good. Unfortunately, the frequency of these boosted events is only one every 10 minutes or so, and they have a 10-minute timer. So the start of these events is actually going to be around 20 minutes apart, unless a Linkup spawns in between them. So for example, after a boosted event ends, there will be a 10-minute timer until the next one. And in that downtime, a Linkup will spawn, and then the timer for the boosted event actually resets once the Linkup is complete. So there could be a large amount of time in between boosted events if a Linkup happens to spawn in between them. However, if a Linkup timer and the boosted event timer happen to sync up at the same time, you get the holy grail, a boosted Linkup. Now boosted Linkups can offer you $187,000 and around 20,000 XP for your speed pass. Plus, you get a little bit extra if you happen to tag someone else's cops on the way out of the Linkup. You know, when you finish the Linkup and everybody's going to escape, if you just bump into a couple of cops that are chasing other players and then you escape, you get a few extra $1,000 for bumping those cops and helping those players escape. You can also crash cops to earn even more. It's a very, very lucrative event, and I expect the entire server to drop what they're doing and go towards the boosted Linkups. It is by far the most rewarding event for your time in Need for Speed Unbound Volume 4. Now, I didn't just test the regular events and the boosted and the Linkups. I also tested the chases, the crashing of the cops, using Getaway Driver as your auxiliary, and Gauntlets. So let's go through those real quickly. If you're crashing cops in free roam, you do get a few $100s per cop. You also will end up in a chase, in which case if you escape, you get money as well. And speaking of chases, if you're going to go through chases, you can actually make $600,000 per hour with a friend, or $400,000 per hour when you're solo. You just have to make sure you have the getaway driver as your auxiliary. Then if you're in solo, you start a chase, let it build to heat 3, and then escape, and then just rinse and repeat that. This should take about 2 minutes or less. I can do it in about 1 minute and 30 seconds, and you get $10,000 every minute 30 seconds. If you have a friend that will help you, you should actually let your heat build up to 5, and then you each take turns escaping while the other person babysits the cops. Of course, you just rinse and repeat that. This method will net you about $20,000 each time you escape, plus the amount you get for helping the other person escape. If you can do this fast, you can make around $600,000 per hour. This is by far the most boring way to make money in the game, but it is the most lucrative method. I just really don't like talking about the method because it is just so boring to just get away from the cops and come back, and then someone else goes and gets away from the cops and comes back, and it's just like you feel like you're just kind of sitting there doing the same thing for hours. So it's just not my favorite thing to do, but it is by far the most lucrative. I actually played Linkups, boosted events, and regular events, and I just kept taking the most expensive and the most short races possible, and I was only able to make $385,000 in 1 hour. So if you can make almost double that with chases, that's going to be the best way to do it. It's just not fun. And a little bit of side note with the getaway driver auxiliary, it does not help you in any of the events, any of the link ups, any of the boosted events or gauntlets or anything like that. Getaway driver doesn't help you unless you're in a free roam police chase. All right, next let's talk about the new event type, gauntlets. Gauntlets are basically just police added to the regular events that you already had. There are 4 different gauntlets that you can choose from. Those each have 3 races in them, and in those races there are cops. Now, when you pick your car, you need to be careful on these races because you do not get to change your car in between races. Not only that, but the health bar meter does not reset in between races. So you need to make it through all 3 races without crashing out in order to win the money. Now the money is pretty good. You can make $45,600 if you come in first place with only 1 person joining, but the reality is this is a new event type, and so I think at least for the next couple of weeks, people are going to want to be joining these. They pay more than regular races. They're around the same amount of time as regular races. In fact, I timed every single race on every single gauntlet playlist, and what I found out was Rapid Response, which is an A tier gauntlet, is actually the shortest time. It has Factory Record, Lakeshore Express, and the Drop. And Factory Record and the Drop are both under a minute type races. They don't take very long. And Lakeshore Express is about 2 minutes and 30 or 2 minutes and 40 seconds if you're, a decent driver. But the combined time, the total time it took to do that playlist was a lot less than the other 3 gauntlets. So if you're in a pinch for time but you want to make the most money, Rapid Response, which is an A tier gauntlet, is the best way to do it. And then one last tip about gauntlets, which is not really related to money, but if you want to repair your car, you can just drive through one of the gas stations that's on the side of the road during a race. I suggest sort of doing that if you can, maybe in the 2nd or 3rd race. The cops get increasingly hard. So on the first race, you have heat 3. On the second race, you have heat 4. And on the third race, you have heat 5. The heat 5 cops are more aggressive inside the gauntlets than they are in free roam, and there's a lot more of them. So I believe some people are going to be crashing out on this, and this is sort of a risk reward type of thing. But if you can get through these and you feel confident going into them, then you can actually make some good money because your 10% bonus for each player that joins is going to be still active there. Now, again, if these events are boosted, you can make 68,400 and 6,600 XP for your speed pass, plus the 10% bonus for each additional player that joins. It's fairly likely that a bunch of players are going to join the boosted one, so you should end up with a completely full boosted gauntlet playlist. And if that's the case, you'll take home over $100,000 if you win that playlist, which is actually insane because if it happens to be Rapid Response, it's actually the shortest way to make $100,000 in the game. It's only about 8 minutes long, and you get to make that type of money. It's absolutely insane. All right, so now that we know everything that you can do to make money in Volume 4, what is the correct method? Well, outside of the chase method, there's not really a good strategy here. Everything has sort of been shuffled around because of the added time between link ups. Before in volume 3, you could just do link up, playlist, link up, playlist, link up, playlist, and you could make a ton of money every hour because it sort of worked out in terms of the timers. Now the timers are sort of offset, and so you actually have to wait a lot longer for another link up, which is the highest paying event in the game, and then you're looking for boosted events as well. But like I said, I tested this for an entire hour. I just took the most expensive, shortest races. I took every single boosted event, and I took every single boosted link up, and I barely made $385,000. So to me, they've sort of spaced everything out, and you can't make as much money, and there really isn't a clear route. What I would suggest is making sure that you enter the first link up that you see. Then after that link up, know that you have 10 minutes until you'll see a boosted event, so run at least one playlist. My suggestion is the rapid response gauntlet. It pays the most for a non-boosted event, and it's the shortest event you can possibly get for that amount of money. Then when you're done with that event, you should see a boosted event that spawns. That boosted event can be taken as many times as you can do it within that timer. So if some party already launches that boosted event and you don't get into it, you can launch your own boosted event. It's not exclusive to one party or another, or one server or another. You can actually just get into it as long as the timer is there. And actually, if you finish one quickly, let's say you get into a drift playlist and it's just your party and you guys race through it, you actually can start that again and get the same amount of rewards the next time through. It's just the timing is very tight. 10 minutes is very hard to get 2 events in, but it is possible. We've done it a couple of times here with early access. So anyway, there is your strategy. Link up, then rapid response, then the boosted event, then another playlist or 2 or maybe even 3, then another link up and possibly another boosted event. And hopefully within that you actually get the best one, which is a boosted link up. Anyways, if you have any questions about this, hopefully I've explained it pretty well. But if you don't understand something about these strategies, please send me a DM on Instagram, Twitter, or Discord. I read every single message that comes my way. And again, check out nfsbattles.com. We're actually competing right now in season 1. Go in and register. It's completely free. Then put in your placement times on the leaderboard that you want to join and be ranked so that you can start challenging other players to 1v1 battles. It is super fun, and we race on stream every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 9 p.m. Central over on Kick. And now I'm going to start streaming on YouTube as well, so you can catch me either on kick.com or on YouTube every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 9 p.m. Central. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you on the next one. Trigger out.
Thank you.